Hi! Welcome to this part of my review featuring the Alien RPG core rulebook. If you haven't seen the other parts of my review, featuring this RPG based on the popular sci-fi horror franchise, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time we are going to talk about communications, media, entertainment, religion, and law enforcement. But before we continue, I would like to talk about this channel's sponsor, Heroes and Hardships. This is a universal RPG system allowing you to play any sort of genre, story, campaign. You can create any sort of character imaginable. You have hundreds of tools to accomplish that. The Kickstarter will begin this October 4th. I'm going to put a few links in the description that will take you to the Kickstarter, to the website, to the Tetsubo section of the website. Tetsubo is an upcoming setting based on Japan's Sengoku era. You're also going to find links to my review of the Early Access Core Rulebook, and my reviews of the Quick Start Guide and the Wallace campaign setting, based on the life and exploits of William Wallace. You're also going to find links to the Discord, so please check it out. Now let's continue. Interstellar space is vast. Transmissions are not instantaneous, sometimes taking weeks or months to reach the recipient. Fortunately, Weyland-Yutani has built a sophisticated communication satellite grid surrounding most inhabited sectors of space. This is known as the network. Intersystem communications are much more immediate, ranging from real-time to a short lag, depending on how far out one is from the recipient. Massive antenna arrays and satellite dishes dominate spacecraft, stations, and ground facilities, and a viable hardwired uplink to them is necessary for transmission of any kind. As it can take extended periods for a reply, most colonial general managers, marshals, and military commanders are forced to make decisions based on their personal interpretation of policy without the approval of the company or colonial administration. No one can hear you scream in space, but you can hear a star sing. Space is also noisy. Pulsars, black holes, and other stellar phenomena all produce transmissions on a wide variety of frequencies. Intersystem call cards are tied directly to a specific recipient. These cards provide you with a direct line to your loved ones, network and distance permitting. Often used as business cards by corporate reps, these transparent prism plastic cards will automatically connect to the rep's receiver when inserted into a comm terminal. When it comes to the media, there is no such thing as the free press on the frontier. Most journalists are corporate owned, and the few that aren't are either spin doctors for their government or just haven't been bought off yet. Propaganda is the norm as each company decides what news to broadcast. When it comes to entertainment, just like in every age before, 22nd century people are easily bored. On the frontier, that boredom is remedied through music, drink, and recreational drugs, prescribed by company physicians. On the music scene, classic rock and country have seen a resurgence along the outer colonies. Recordings are downloaded from the network and copied onto disposable cassettes. If one pays heavy subscription fees, broadcast entertainment can also be accessed. Most of the recreational content on the network exists to promote a company's products and consists of reality programming, shopping networks, and glorified corporate propaganda. Concerning recreational drugs and drink, assorted drinks and company-approved drugs are the norm of each day. Let's talk about religion. Traditional religions still exist in the 22nd century and are represented on the frontier in one form or another. Even small cults can be fanatical enough to evoke change, and companies want employees with that kind of fervor working for them. You could say that religion is quite useful for companies to manipulate their employees. Some of these religions and cults include the millenarian doomsayers. These are fundamentalist groups that believe the end times are near. Millenarian doomsayers vow celibacy and seek to atone for their past sins while awaiting the second coming. Then we have the monastic order of Arseon, an anti-technology movement that started on Earth. The order of Arseon grew exponentially when a computer virus wiped out a huge portion of the world's data. Then we have the practitioners of the Holy Immolation, that oppose the corporate domination of the colonies, and they protest by burning themselves up, immolating themselves in the name of a free frontier. Then we have the Church of Immaculate Incubation. Not much is known about this fledgling group. Some authorities suspect they might be a splinter faction of the infamous Earth Savers cult. They seek to attain a certain divine metamorphosis by accepting what they call the seed of God into their hearts. Concerning law enforcement, insurrections, revolutions, crime, and atrocities are all too common in the colonies. As such, there are various levels of law enforcement on the frontier. You have the Colonial Marshal Bureau. The CMB is your local police force. For a colony of 500 to 3,000 colonists, there will usually be a single marshal, a sergeant, and a group of around a dozen officers. Then we have the United States Colonial Marine Corps. Some colonies will have a Colonial Marine Corps office and/or a contingent attached to them. Those that don't are still under the jurisdiction and protection of the USCMC and the United Americas Outer Rim Defense Fleet, and are usually within days to weeks of receiving support in case of an emergency. Then we have the Corporate Security Force. In addition to colonial protection, a corporation sponsoring a colony might have its own security force attached to it. We also have the Interstellar Commerce and Commission, a central organization that conducts and monitors interstellar trade. The ICC has its own inspectors and agents that enforce regulations and quarantine procedures throughout the colonies. And this concludes this part of the review. In the next part, we are going to talk about spacecraft basics. There are some interesting parallelisms between our own reality and this fiction. You have propaganda, a corporate-controlled network of information. You have religious cults used to dominate people through dogma and doctrine. And there are different law enforcement groups to keep people in check rather than under their protection. Thank you for watching this part of the review, and thank you for your likes and your comments. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. Once again, thank you, and see you later.